Hello, hello.
Evening, all.
Ah, we are here. Hold on. Let me turn on the chat, man. Nothing. Is it? There it goes.
There
Hello,
we are.
everyone. Hello, everyone. Now,
Evening, all.
I'm not going to waste time saying hello to y'all because y'all know you're there and I know you're there. But we have a guest on the show. His name is Anders, and he's from Uncanny Expeditions. And I just wanted to show you a clip of what brought him to my attention. So here, let's check this out. And then the man, the myth, the legend will be with us.
If any video is going to get me accused of being a Chinese spy, it's going to be this one.
And here he is.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks
Pleasure.
for joining us. Thanks for
this is
joining us.
Yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a show because I've got so much questions to ask you.
Yeah,
But Mike,
I'm happy to be here, and I love the clip that you used for the intro. I think that was fantastic. So.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. So the begging question on that is, are you a Chinese spy?
Well, I haven't gotten any money yet. You know, the check may still be in the mail. I don't know. But yeah, haven't received any compensation from Xi Jinping or anything. So,
yeah, but thanks for being here. It's awesome. I was just going to ask, where did it all start for you with your channel? Because I'm quite new to your work. Until Hidden mentioned about your channel and what you actually did and showed me the footage, I was like, oh my God, how come I haven't even heard of this guy? So for the first question, I want to get things off. Where did it all start? What sparked your interest?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story. So as far as my channel goes, in its current form, I really started it in January of this year. I had other videos previously that were kind of just about whatever I felt like filming on my travels. But as far as really honing in on like the secret bases and trying to look for classified things, that really started in January. As far as my interest in the subject, it's really kind of gone back to my whole life. Like, I took my first trip out to Area 51 in 2007. I was a teenager at the time, and I've kind of always hung out on those forums back in the day, like abovetopsecret.com and everything. And it's been just sort of a lifelong fascination of mine. And I've been a nomad or a van lifer for 4 years now, and this kind of lifestyle has really allowed me to go out to these places in the American Southwest, these really remote corners of the desert, like Area 51, like the Helendale facility where I shot that video. It allows me to go out there and I can set up camp and really spend some time and film and look for interesting things. So yeah, the fact that I'm a nomad and the fact that I had this channel already, you know, I kind of just combined my two passions and created Uncanny Expeditions.
That's amazing. Well, you're doing a grand job of it because
Thanks, man.
But in terms of like the production wise, I'm just going to go off track a little bit. What equipment are you using? Because I've using like a standard Insta360 Ace Pro 2 to do like my time lapses, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Production wise, what you're actually producing is quite phenomenal. I mean, what standard camera are you using?
Yeah, so for some segments like my motorcycle riding, I use a DJI Action 4. I use as far as the main camera that I use for non-motorcycle riding stuff, it's a Panasonic S9, and then I have a variety of different lenses for it, and I can adapt that to my PVS 14 night vision monocular. So that's what I use to capture like the night vision footage, for example. Is the S9 with the adapter on the PVS 14. And then I have a spotting scope that I can basically kind of rig up to my camera to get me even more reach. So I have quite a few tools in the toolbox, and it's kind of a constant learning process for me. Like, I started off with like a cheap, like $300 Chinese made night vision unit, and I've since upgraded to like a $3,000 PVS 14. And It's one of those things I'm constantly improving and seeing what works and what doesn't and things like that.
Yeah. It's just like awesome shots. I like because the landscape you're dealing with here, Anders, is just like I was saying to Hidden, it's unbelievable. It's like such scenery. I mean, I love our countryside that we have in England, but in America, it's like the desert, that landscape that you go through, and it's captured
beautiful.
It's stunning, really stunning. So I'm actually quite envious. I'm like, oh my god, I'd love to do what this guy's doing, especially like sky watching and doing what you do. I mean, is it? Would you say it's quite? Have you gotten like to a lot of trouble? The things that you've been doing, because you're quite in the public realm, isn't it, having a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I haven't gotten in any particular trouble, and I don't think I necessarily will. I never trespass or anything. I do take care to stay on public property. There are laws technically on the books here in America about filming national security sites. The thing is with those, they're never going to hold up in court. So I don't think there's been a single instance of the government actually prosecuting people taking photos and videos of a military site because, First Amendment grounds, it covers things like that. And I'm pretty sure they'd know that they would lose in court. So I'm not too worried. I have gotten I do get a lot of kind of, messages from people that aren't happy with what I do, like the Chinese spy comment at the beginning. You can reference a lot of comments that I get both on YouTube and Reddit of people saying, "Oh, you're helping the Chinese by doing this" and things like that. I did actually get a Reddit message from a Lockheed Martin Skunk Works employee as well after I filmed that footage. It wasn't a hostile message, or at least it didn't seem that way. But it was just kind of like, "Hey, where were you when you filmed this? What night was it?" Things like that. I kind of gave vague answers because I wasn't really sure what direction it was going. But he was a Skunk Works employee, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
he fishing for information from me. So
you were going to get. Sorry, Hidden, Karen. I'm asking questions.
No, go.
No, I was just going
to say, because being more on the topic of Skunk Works, it goes back to that footage that you shot. Now, the footage that I did show was grainy, but you did tidy it up, and I think you did a very good job because we get to see a little bit better of it. So, can I just play the tidied up footage that you did?
Yeah, play it. Absolutely. Yep. I denoised it essentially in my video editing program with a plugin. So take a look.
Sweet. Because the footage that we're going to be seeing today is obviously the one that we saw in the intro. That's compelling. It really is. I've got so many questions to ask you about this because obviously it's quite grainy, but someone said in chat, I think Rotary said in chat, is it rotating? Hidden, did you mention that? Is it actually is it? If it is, play the footage.
Well,
it's very slow. Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll see that the craft is at some different angles.
I'm doing some denoising on this Hellendale Skunk Works RCS footage. So here's the results of that now. Came out looking pretty good, I think.
See, now you can make sure you can see that it's on some sort of structure.
Yeah.
In the original one, they were saying like it was a triangle craft that was beaming down.
Yeah, people thought it was a tractor beam. Even though my first ever post made clear what it was, but it got passed around as something other than what it was.
Unfortunately, that's what happens in this game.
Oh, I know. But yeah, you'll see it here. It is at a different angle. You'll see the rotation.
Is this some sort of crane? Would you say? I'm just trying to picture what this.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what this is and how it works. So this is what's called a radar cross-section test, and this is at the Hellendale RCS, a radar cross-section test facility. And what they do is they have this, it's called a pylon, and in this particular case, it's stored about 200 feet below ground, and it extends up holding the aircraft.
Some extra footage of the RCS site shot during
they rotate it around and they blast it with radar, and they're measuring its radar signature to see how it shows up as far as measuring stealth capabilities. So they do this when they're developing new craft to basically see how the stealth capabilities are of the particular airframe.
You actually
yeah.
got a clip of the radar as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you can see the dish
I'm
at
gonna
a couple
play it
different
again.
points.
I'll put it up because I'm sure it's in this one, isn't
Extra
it?
footage of the RCS site shot during the day now. You can get a good view here of the radar dish that they wheel out during the tests.
Yep. So that's one of them, and they have several
And
more
here
further
is looking
back as
down
well.
into the depression in the ground where the pylon comes up for the tests. All right, well, that's a wrap for today's episode. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.
So yeah, if you guys look up a picture of the Hellendale RCS facility, you can see the underground entrance, and basically this facility goes 200 feet below ground, and they store the airframe under there to keep it out of view of spy satellites and things like that. So they'll hoist it up in the middle of the night to do the test, and then if they do have any intel that there is a spy satellite or something in the area, they can actually quickly retract it below ground. And I think it's within like 30 seconds or something. It's really quick. They can pull it back down. So this whole facility is designed to be able to basically hide these classified aircraft from prying eyes very quickly. So I think it's kind of interesting.
So
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Could you just give some background into that footage, because you were camping out and then all of a sudden it went black, didn't it?
Well, yeah. So I had kind of been around the facility on my motorcycle during the day, and I was, kind of going around the perimeter and checking it out. And I actually left for a little while to my main campsite where my RV was. And then I came back towards the evening and set up camp on a hillside that was about 1.6 miles away from the test site. And I basically waited there until it got dark, started seeing vehicles coming into the test site one after another. So I figured something was gonna happen. And then I think it had to have been about midnight. The pylon came up, and I was looking through my night vision. I couldn't actually see anything with the naked eye, but I could make out the light, the very faint UV light with my night vision. And yeah, they hoisted the craft up, and they had it up there. I think I finally ran out of ability to stay awake about 4 a.m. So it was up there for like 4 hours.
Wow.
And yeah, they eventually, you'll see later on in the video, they actually had 2 drones fly out from somewhere, and they were doing tight circles flying around the test site. One of them was General Atomics. I'm forgetting the model number, but it's kind of like the Predator drone. The other one, it wasn't showing up on my flight radar app. I know it was there because I could see it with my eyes, but it was flying without its ADS-B transponder on. And it was a bigger drone. It looked more almost kind of like some of those New Jersey drones, in my opinion. It was kind of a little bit more triangular, and it was a very different shape. So those 2 came probably about 2 hours into the test, and they were flying around circles, and then they flew off again after that.
Wow. That's just amazing. Because in your opinion, did you think that you saw some sort of classified craft?
Yeah, I definitely do. I know there was something classified about the test because, they do these things in the middle of the night. There really only is classified things at this facility. It's not just something that's like super, common knowledge, I guess you'd say. So like they bring airframes out to this facility because, they know it's a place where they can test these classified things. I have a couple of theories. I've been talking to some people on it. As far as what the craft was, I think it could have been a YFQ-42A, which if you guys pull up a picture of it, it fits the kind of general shape pretty well. And this is one of those new collaborative combat drones that were announced recently. I actually shot this before they announced it, but I think it could be. Yeah.
You pushed their hand, didn't you?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But they announced this and one other drone model. And I shot this footage I think it was probably about a month before they announced it publicly. So
did you?
I think it could be that. I don't know, but it's just a theory.
Because I'm looking at the footage, and I'm comparing the craft itself to the people on the ground, and it seems to be quite large.
Wait.
Yeah.
It's not people.
No, it kind of
I
looks
thought
like
that
it.
myself.
Yeah.
I thought that myself.
Right.
It's
That's
an easy
okay.
mistake to make, but it's some sort of I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like electrical equipment and junction boxes because basically right on the other side of those is the actual underground entrance, and that's basically where I think the power goes, and yeah,
My
it's not
bad.
people or vehicles. It's kind of yeah, it looks like it could be, but it's not.
You do see this car eventually creep up to the actual.
Yeah, you'll
flashing
see
its
the
eyes.
security truck. Yep, and that
Yeah.
truck was driving around the perimeter basically the whole time they were doing the test. So
I see.
Do you have the picture of the craft that he mentioned so we could show?
Oh, what was
throw it up there. It's called a YFQ-42A. It's a General Atomics drone, and like I said, one of the drones
that
they had
object
flying
was
over. Yeah,
that object was a drone.
could have been. It's just a theory. Yeah.
That looks like a big drone, though, don't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty large drone. I think the dimensions fit pretty well from what I've seen.
Okay, I can bring this up now. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. I'm going to bring this up now, Hidden. Yeah, check this out.
I am waiting patiently. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
It looks like the Thunderbirds, doesn't it?
Sorry, there was a little hiccup
it
there.
does.
So that's not the right one actually. That's the Anduril one. So the YFQ-42A is different. That's the second drone that they announced at the same time.
That's a drone as well.
Yeah,
that looks like a fighter jet, man. That's big.
I could throw a picture in the chat if you want.
Yeah, go for it. There seems to be quite a number of models actually. What I'm looking at here.
Is it letting you?
All right, so here's a rendering of the YFQ-42A.
Oh, okay. You sent it private.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I just
yeah.
Can you get that, Nick?
Yeah, I got this. Yep, don't worry.
Thank you.
We'll be the producer, man. There you go.
Like I said, this is just one possibility. It's hard to say, but it fits the overall shape pretty well.
It does, doesn't it? Because it angles down, doesn't it? If I remember, like the back of the wings.
Yeah, so
kind of see that.
Basically, if it's this, it would have been upside down on the pylon, right?
Yeah.
Because they do these radar cross-section tests oftentimes with the aircraft upside down. They do them, flipped around all different ways, but it would make sense for it to be upside down in this case, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is. I mean, obviously, this is our impression of this. Is there an actual photograph of this, or is it just?
I think there are.
Okay.
Actually, I'm only seeing the renderings. It's like I said, it was just announced, so it's possible if it is this, maybe I got the only footage of it.
Wow, and that would be so cool. That's why when we talked, and even though you told me straight, you didn't hide nothing. You said, "Look, that's not a UFO."
Yeah,
and even though you told me, I said, "Listen, man, that is really cool because." Just to catch something that nobody had seen before, other than the people that work in that facility.
Yeah, that's really what drives me, and something that I find really interesting with going out to these secret sites is, like we were talking about before the show, I'm definitely a UFO believer, but I also enjoy classified programs and black projects and things like that. So I think there's value in going out there to these sites and staking them out, even if I'm not catching a UFO. It's still interesting.
I'm just showing you footage again because we got something to compare it to. I can see what you're saying because it's upside down.
Yeah.
But see, Nick, I'm with you. Those did look like people.
They do, people. Yeah.
I know, right?
But the thing is, though, I said, who are them people?
They're standing very still if they are people, though, because they don't move the whole time.
Sure.
And I didn't know that you filmed this it was there for over 4 hours. So
yeah, it had to be about 4 hours. And like I said, I'm 1.6 miles away on a hilltop. So I have my night vision, my spotting scope, and my camera basically all held together in kind of a weird, cumbersome, awkward way. This is actually before I got a specific adapter that makes this easier. So I had everything kind of just held together awkwardly to get this footage.
This is awesome stuff, man.
You did a good job there, man.
Yeah,
I
there
have to
you can
admit.
see it's the front right now, so you don't see the two fins as well. But now you have a side profile view, so it is rotating.
Unfortunately, with all these UFO footage, we never get to see these things take off. So why didn't you film it taking off?
Well, yeah, you know,
I'm messing with you because it's
people wondered why I didn't film it going back into the ground, and that's because like I ran out of battery, I ran out of SD card space, like it was hours up there. So
that old chestnut.
Yeah, right. It's like we were talking about earlier. Why is there only 50 seconds of video?
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
I mean, where do you find these locations? Is it mostly the Skunk Works area and Lockheed Martin, the facilities you're dealing with? Obviously, Area 51 is quite a lot on your channel.
Yeah, so I kind of started with Area 51 just because it's the most well known, and you know I think there's a lot of interesting things to film there. But I started branching out. I was reading about Lockheed Skunk Works and just everything they do, and you know there's a lot of potential UFO connections with Skunk Works. You know, if there is a private contractor that has any reverse engineered technology, you know, a lot of people throw out Skunk Works as being kind of where it would be. So I started just looking around. They have a main headquarters in Palmdale, California. I've checked out that facility a few times. There's not much to see there. It's kind of just in the middle of the city. So then I started reading about, you know, where they do more classified tests, and Helendale came up, which is where I filmed that video. So I went out to the Helendale site, and at the second night I was out there, so I got pretty lucky because I camped out there another couple weeks I on and off, and I didn't see anything after that. So I got really lucky that the second night I was out there, they actually did do a test, because they don't do them out there every night, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, being a Skywatcher myself, you've probably got more experience than I do. You're not going to capture things straight away. You got to keep doing it. And eventually you'll hit the jackpot, which I think what you got with this footage here, I think is very compelling. I mean, now I'm actually seeing the enhanced version of this, because I thought it was a TR-3B craft with a light shining down.
Yeah, without context, it absolutely would look like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of people did share it out as a UFO. So
yeah, it just kind of snowballed. So the first time I posted it as, you know, clearly a radar cross section test. I was very unambiguous, and then third phase of Moon, not to shout them out, but they took it and claimed it was a UFO with a tractor beam, and I was just like, friends. Yeah, I was just like, come on, guys. Like, I put a comment on their video. I'm like, you guys took this from Reddit, presumably. I clearly said what it was. And then, you know, it got posted on TikTok and other sites too. So I was able to set the record straight when it came up on Reddit again.
That's how I got you.
Yeah,
because I saw your comment saying, "Hey, this is my video. They just speeded up my voice."
Yeah. Or they pitch shifted it, and like I was like, that doesn't quite sound like me, but I don't know. So yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I guess they did that to get around any copyright.
I just threw it out there to you. I just said, "Look, could you come on the show?" Because I still was thinking it was a UFO.
Yeah.
And then so I did, but you know, I knew either way. If it's not a UFO, you did catch something exotic.
Well, yeah, it's unidentified. It wasn't flying, but you know, it is an object. Like I said, I have theories about what it could be, but you know, we still don't know for sure. Other than that, it is a classified test.
I like to say they're no longer gay. They both have girlfriends now, so they're just fake.
Oh,
no, they're not. They're not fake. They're my friends. We're buddies. but we can have a joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I'm just going to throw this question to you. Have you seen anything unusual? May not be like a craft, or might be something like a spiritual entity you might see in the sky, because I have seen a lot of footage recently. I don't know if you've been seeing it hidden, that there seems to be these like weird, sort of strange bug-like creatures, like worms in the sky and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people say they've all been debunked, but have you seen anything else unusual that you might say could be a extraterrestrial craft or military?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I've said a couple times, I'm definitely a skeptical believer. So I like to rule out any prosaic explanation of something before I jump to, hey, that's a UFO. That's just kind of how I am. I'm really
Sure.
analytical. That said, you know, I definitely have seen some things out there in the desert that aren't conventional. There's something that I've seen on probably 3 or 4 occasions at least, and that's I'll see something with my night vision that looks like a satellite. So it'll be kind of moving in a straight trajectory, really high up, and I'll be looking at it for a while, and then all of a sudden it'll make a 90-degree turn one way or the other, and I'm like, that's not a satellite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can think of at least probably 4 occasions where I have unmistakably seen something make a 90-degree turn in the sky like that.
Well, we do.
And
We
I don't know
do.
what
We
it
do.
is, but
We do have some footage from your channel of something you did see, and I'd just
Yeah.
like to reiterate, guys, the link to Anders' channel. It's Uncanny
Expeditions. Yep.
Thank you. I want to say Uncanny Expeditions. Uncanny Expeditions. But his link is in the description box. And guys, please check out his channel, because I'll just say this real quick before we jump into your night vision footage.
Mhm.
What I found, what did blow me away, is the vastness of Area 51. Just when you do the spin around of the desert, I really got a feel how empty that place is.
It's remote. It is. It's you know, Area 51 is kind of in the perfect location as far as striking a balance between remoteness but still having access for supplies and personnel. So like you'll have major highways that run through Nevada, but at the same time there's not a lot out there. So it's kind of the perfect balance, I say, between yeah.
I remember the footage when you were chasing after the bus or the coach, and
Yeah,
you was
the
like you
truck,
were hauling,
yep.
yeah, the truck, and you were
Yeah.
hauling ass, and you just kept on going and going and going. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
wow, how fast is this place? I mean, is it the
Yeah.
extraterrestrial highway? That
Yeah,
long
that's what it's
road.
called. Mhm.
I've seen like a landscape shot of that, and you think, bloody hell, this thing's just like goes on
It's
for ages.
incredible. Yeah, it stretches off into the horizon. It seems like forever. You know, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's the word I
Yeah.
can take from it.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I have to admit, I'm a skywatcher myself. But do you know what? I can't afford a camera like this. I would love a camera like this. So this is why I asked you in the beginning, like, what equipment do you use? What we're going to witness here, obviously, a lot of balls of light. I
I
just
had a
want to
little
go
bit
through
of
what.
little bit of a hiccup there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. We're obviously going to see a lot of balls of light. I'd like to get your honest opinion on what you think we're actually seeing, because I'm seeing a lot of your nighttime footage and what I'm seeing on my time lapse, and it'll be good to get your perspective on this one, because sure, we know what satellites are like, but some of them, like you said, just like change directions, which I have seen myself. Which is satellites don't do that for sure.
Yeah, this is a weird one here that you're about to show, because I think it could be potentially satellites, but there's something kind of not quite right with the satellite explanation with this one for me. So I've kind of gone back and forth on it, but yeah, go ahead and play it.
Have a look.
Ton of aircraft activity up until now. After the last of the Janet flights left, it was pretty quiet. Now I'm seeing 2 strobing lights. Looks like 2 aircraft with 1 large light that appeared just on the horizon. Not sure what that is. Looks like whatever's going on is off towards the Tonopah test range.
I mean, I love how you said that, because there's no.
So at this point, I've been watching the expanse of stars in front of me for quite a while. Been a few hours at this point since I started watching the sky. I noticed just over the horizon to the southwest, I saw what looked like a triangular shape appear over the horizon. And then there was another one right behind it. My first inclination was that this was something exotic, but the rational side of my brain took over, and after looking at the footage a little more carefully, I think it's just satellites. Because if you notice, the objects are moving in a consistent direction and in a consistent speed. But let me know what you think down in the comments.
I mean, I would have had that up as a UFO straight up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've kind of gone back and forth on this one. It's tough.
Doesn't it kind of break formation as well?
Yeah, it does, and they get brighter and dimmer too, which is weird.
For satellites.
Yeah, right.
Normally I believe, is that infrared you're using?
Yeah, it's through the night vision, so it is infrared. These
so
were
normally
visible to the naked eye too. Just
normally on
faint.
infrared, don't they have to flash
There's a nice
the
meteor
sequence?
catch right there in the middle.
As far as like a satellite or a plane?
Yeah, a satellite. Don't they have to so people can tell that that's their satellite that they paid money to put up in the sky. Because Elon could just say, "I put your satellite up there; it's there."
Well, satellites in the night vision, they'll just look like a solid light. I haven't seen satellites flash.
Oh, okay, sorry. Then that's
but they don't typically look this bright, which is kind of what throws me off. They're typically a lot more faint than this.
But was it moving in the same direction, the trajectory, or did any deviation from it?
It's hard to tell with this one. You know, I've definitely seen some that unmistakably change direction. This one, it's hard to tell, in my opinion, if they do or not. It kind of looks like they do. It's tough though. Like I'm on the fence still with this one.
It's good though. I have to admit, it's I've definitely seen objects like this in the sky for sure, especially ones that change direction. I mean, I saw one hauling ass, and then it was actually blinking. Not like an aircraft, but eventually it just changed directions. I mean, at unprecedented speeds. I couldn't believe it, and I witnessed from my naked eye. And
I've seen some, like, kind of like you're saying, they'll be like pulsing a little bit, and then they change direction. I unfortunately haven't gotten one like that on film yet, but
what do you reckon a rational explanation for that?
that's one I don't know. You know, I would file that under UFO potentially for sure. Exactly. I don't have an easy answer on that one.
Tony's asking. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Tony's asking, could they be planes?
I don't think these are planes in this case. I have actually gotten that comment a couple of times saying like, oh, this is, you know, planes coming in for a landing in Las Vegas or something like that. Couple problems with that explanation. This is facing the wrong direction for it to be the airport in Las Vegas. I'm actually facing the opposite way. Also, this would be over classified airspace. So these definitely aren't regular airliners. And they weren't, I always have an ADS-B flight tracking app on my phone, and nothing was showing up as far as that.
Okay.
So they weren't conventional aircraft.
Hot air balloons? Rody wants to know.
No, not
unlikely over classified airspace.
Rotary's just kidding because we're part of the 420 crew, so some of the questions are going to be funny ones.
Yeah.
How about drones? Have you seen any drone activity?
Yeah, so I mean these could potentially be drones. I still kind of doubt it. But like I was saying, yeah, over the Hellendale facility, when I was filming that test, there was that odd drone activity that they were circling above me a couple hours into the test. I've seen some other drones flying around Southern California near Edwards Air Force Base. They definitely are a pretty regular occurrence as far as what you'll see in the sky.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Back to this footage. Sorry. Back to this footage.
Sorry if I sound hoarse all of a sudden. I've got terrible allergies today. I'm sorry. If you guys can't hear me, tell me to yell a little louder.
No, you're perfect,
loud and clear.
Yeah,
you're perfect. Science, Evidence, and Fringe is asking: could this be plasma balls?
It's possible. You know, I don't know enough about plasma really to say one way or the other on that one. Yeah, I mean it's possible. Yeah. What do you guys think about plasma? I honestly, that's kind of a subject I don't know a whole lot about.
To be honest with you, it goes both ways really in terms of like extraterrestrial or something military.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen any data to prove that the military is using plasma as someone might correct me in chat on this, as like an aircraft, or because this is what we're seeing these balls of light, whether or not it's something in terms of technology to actually as a weapon or an aircraft or something spiritual. I think the UFO community are more or less going down the spiritual route. Like what we're seeing is extra dimensional entities, so to speak, and not necessarily military craft.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm 50-50 on that one. It's because I have seen from my naked eye balls of light, like these orbs. I mean, from the naked eye myself. This is going to go a bit wackadoo here, but I think the paranormal and extraterrestrials are both linked together. I think there's a same realm here that we're dealing with because, yeah, we can take photographs in a haunted location and get orbs, but we're also seeing balls of light in the sky. I mean, I think there's like a correlation there. I think it's all connected together. I'll go woo in this one, aren't I?
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I guess my sort of default thinking is I tend to be more of a nuts and bolts kind of guy. Like, you know, this is some sort of a craft, but yeah, but I'm definitely open-minded. I could be convinced of that as well.
We always get these comments. Somebody saying it's Starlink.
Well, it's not Starlink.
we're not even go there. But just type in Starlink on YouTube and watch what Starlink looks like. There, you do. Have
I caught a video
of Starlink.
I caught a video in one of my first videos from back in January at Area 51. I caught Starlink flying over Area 51 in my older night vision camera. So that's kind of funny. Like I'm pretty well versed in what Starlink looks like, and I did get a shot of it over Area 51.
I get it all the time. One that's Starlink. So what can you say?
Yeah, I filmed the skies 24/7 with my time-lapse camera, and I captured Starlink so many times. And when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, I really caught something amazing here."
Me too.
Quick Google search. It's right, there we go. That's the explanation.
But I think everybody, because I remember when we first, as what I do when I say we, I mean the collective we. When we all first saw Starlink, we were just throwing videos out. You know, UFO fleet, and then.
Oh, I thought it was an invasion happening when I first saw it. I was just like, what the hell? Like,
indeed. I do remember the first time, and we were all on it, and then we educated ourselves. So this is why now you don't see a lot of, I'm not going to say any, because there are still some people out there that either they don't know or they don't care, that put Starlink satellites up there. And but we know it's not Starlink. But what I wanted to say, I wanted to give my opinion on these orbs, the plasma orbs, because I don't deal with the military. I deal with civilian sightings, and I clearly remember a footage out in Japan. Do you guys remember the Japanese volcano footage where these orbs, I think for about 2 to 3 hours, were going in the volcano, coming out, going in, coming out. It was like a really cool piece of footage, and they did look like plasma balls. But I also agree because I think the problem with the UFO phenomena is when they're trying to nail it down, they want to put it in one category. I think we're dealing with several different categories, and there's a lot of possibilities, like the possibility that these things, like the 4chan leaker said, the possibility that these things are being made out in the ocean and they're coming from the ocean. There's inner Earth, the possibility of that. I believe it was Admiral Byrd that talked about meeting these beings, and they had ships, and they're coming from inner Earth.
The Antarctica expedition, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the problem, and I do also believe, like these ones, I believe with Nick. I'm with Nick on that one because I always warn people about the CE5 because that is an old form of magic. That's in my understanding of magic. That is an old form. It's called conjuring. You're willing something into existence. Yeah. So this is why whenever they're doing these CE5s, they're seeing these balls of light flying around because you're willing an entity in. You may think it's a UFO, but just be very careful, guys, doing the CE5. I'm not saying don't do it. I am just saying be very careful because you may not know what you're bringing into this world. So
I haven't really looked too much at CE5, other than I'm kind of familiar with its connection with like Stephen Greer, who I'm not the biggest fan of. I tend to think he's kind of a grifter. So,
sure, I understand.
I think unfortunately that the two have kind of been very closely linked, at least in the public sphere. So.
Yeah, he's definitely right the grift on that one for sure. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't say I've done necessary CE5, but I've taken a lot of a Super Mario mushrooms in the past to actually conjure up something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Magic mushrooms we're talking about here. And yeah, you can conjure up stuff, and it's like Hidden says, just be very careful. It's a real thing. Don't get me wrong, but I think, like you said, like Stephen Greer is more or less ride the grift on this one, and sort of put a bit of stigma behind it.
He's a smart man, because what he did was he repackaged some old teachings to make it his, and then charged you what was it to subscribe to it?
It was a lot of money, thousands, wasn't it? We looked into
I think it was $9.99 for the app.
His app is $10, I think. But he charges a lot to go out on those retreats.
Oh yeah, but to be honest,
potentially drops flares out of a plane. Maybe
be honest. Anybody could do it. I know. I remember that out in was it Florida, Tampa? He did that.
I think so. Yeah.
Where they all had that big meeting, and these flares popped up, and it's like, yeah, see, they're here, man.
Yeah, and he was like, "Don't use binoculars. That'll scare them away." You know, you would see that. Yeah, but
love him. Yeah. All I always say about these people, I try not to get into the name calling and name bashing of these people, because all I can say is, if he made one or two people start looking up into the skies, then he's done a good job.
Hey, I agree with that. And I think his first National Press Club event that he did back in, like, I think 2001, I think that had a lot of value to it. So,
yeah. I've got a UFO magazine here with Stephen Greer all the way back in 1996. In fact, I've got one of his conferences from 2000, which is not on the internet. I've got it on VHS tape and needs to convert. So he's been in it for, I think, a lot longer than people think. But the press conference you're talking about before, I think I can't mention on it, but back in 2001, I think that's really what got his attention, the public eyes, to Stephen Greer's attention. It's kind of funny. It says we're really close to getting disclosure, and that was like what?
It's
27 years ago.
It's always next year, next year it's coming.
Yeah. So it's a tricky one when it comes to CE5. I mean, like I said, just be careful, and just because you can conjure up stuff, but do you trust Stephen Greer? I don't. There's a question I want to ask you, because you do a lot of military watching.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was going to say, have you heard of the Aurora project? This is obviously go back to the 90s. We're talking about here.
That's an old one.
Yeah. Do you obviously? I think technology has moved on since then. I think. So in terms of what do you think the military has now? If you say like Skunk Works and Lockheed Martin, what technology do you think they have now? Aircraft or advanced technology?
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure. You're right in that the Aurora is kind of, I feel like that's got to be at least 30 years out of date at this point, as far as what they're working with now. So there's talk about like the SR-72 replacing the SR-71. There's kind of never really been anything concrete with that. It's potentially possible that they're working on advanced propulsion systems beyond jet propulsion. I definitely think there could be truth to electromagnetic things like that, whether it's reverse engineered extraterrestrial craft or whether it's homegrown. I think that is something that is really interesting to look at. Obviously there is still quite a bit of work happening with conventional propulsion as well. So I think you probably are seeing just craft that are kind of the spiritual successors to whatever the Aurora was.
I think now if the military comes forward and say, look at this advanced spy craft we got, I think that is probably 60 years old, and you probably just put that out there just to say to the public, look how advanced we are. It's like, I mean, look at like NASA. We're still using flipping rockets, for Christ's sake. I mean, what's that? 60? Well, more than that. We were talking about World War II here. 80 years old. We haven't advanced at all, and it's clearly there's been the military, like Skunk Works and what you're saying, Lockheed Martin has been working on something. Surely they must have breakaway by now.
Yeah, like the development cycle for anything military like this is just so long too. Like the F-22 project started in like the 80s, and its first flight was in 2005, I think. So, like there's just such a long development cycle for any of these aircraft that, the stuff you're seeing now, it's definitely out of date. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is it. I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it just makes you wonder what the hell they have now, but we can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anything propulsion wise as a rocket to propel a craft, I think is now so outdated. I think like I said, I think electromagnetic propulsion is more on the cards. I think that's probably ancient technology as well. They probably cracked that back in the 50s, like they were working on the G craft. Because I was looking at there was a book by Nick Cook, who's an aviation journalist, and he was talking about the Aurora projects, and they're saying, look, they were talking about anti-gravity stuff way back in the 50s. It's called the G craft. And suddenly they had all these private contractors working on this technology in the 50s, and then suddenly, boom, went all quiet. It's like, well, obviously either they failed at it, but there was multitude of companies. I think what's the other guy? I think it's Michael Schratt, who deals with a lot of military technology and aircraft and stuff like that. And he has talked about the advancement now is just so far beyond what our capabilities are. It's who knows? It's all guessing game now, isn't it? But with your expertise and your camera and what you got doing at the moment, I'm pretty sure you will hit the jackpot at some point. You got to be right place, right time,
or get bumped off.
Well, I hope not. I
would say that.
But what I was going to say is, have you guys seen that patent for the thing that looks a lot like the TR-3B? It's like a U.S. Navy patent, and I think that was like, I don't remember when that was patented, but it was like in the 90s, I think, and it had like a nuclear reactor in it or something like that. But it had like the triangle with the 3 points of lights and the one in the middle. That even these triangle craft sightings, that's something that's been around since the 80s, the 90s. So if that is a military technology, then
that's super advanced, because you see how the thing moves. There's no noise,
right?
But if that thing goes bang, it's a nuclear reactor inside, you just think about. I think need to get that absolutely pristine correct, because like I said, if that goes bang anywhere up in the sky down below, you've got a massive radiation background. Like it's like Chernobyl.
If you're using it for like surveillance of a foreign nation and something goes wrong, you basically just like nuked them accidentally. Like
exactly.
That's a little bit of a foreign policy faux pas, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, that technology, the nuclear side. You can talk about that way back in like World War II, and Germans were sort of figuring that sort of stuff out. So I'm pretty sure that's like old technology and has been worked on. But yeah, who knows, man?
Who knows is right.
Who knows? But yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, because I find it absolutely fascinating. I really do.
Aiden, you're just a bit more than
amateur.
Looking for these crafts and UFOs. You do a lot of exploration.
Yeah, I really like just exploring the topography of that part of the country, and I like old ghost towns. I like I like seeing what I can find out there in the desert. So it's I'm an outdoorsman too. Like I really just love camping. I love going off the grid. So it's really kind of a blend of all of the above for me.
Well, I'm glad you said that you like visiting ghost towns, because I do have a clip where you went out to a test site where he would test the nuclear weapons. This is how this man don't care. You got your Geiger counter in hand, and so I'll just show the clip, man.
Yeah, go for it. It's the Cedar Pipeline Ranch.
Sweet.
See, you even know which one I'm on about.
Yeah, well, I don't have that many videos. So.
have I brought it up? No, I haven't. See how bad I am. I'd have just sat there and played it and said, "Wow, this is interesting." You guys would be, where's the video? There we go. There we are. Okay. Sorry, I'm so unprofessional, but I did tell you this at the beginning.
Yeah.
Sound, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I made it to the Cedar Pipeline Ranch. I'm really excited to check this place out. So one of the rumors about why this place was abandoned was due to the fallout from nuclear testing nearby. So I'm excited to bring out the Geiger counter and actually see if there's any elevated radiation levels at this spot or not. We'll find out.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there for one reason, and this is a public service announcement to the 420 crew. This video is a little bit long, so here's the time to have your 420 break. So have a nice smoke and have a watch of this, man, because it's pretty interesting. And back to the video.
All right.
I'm going to kind of explore this area a little bit first. It definitely has an eerie vibe with all these twisted trees and decaying buildings.
And this is a nuclear test range.
Well, it's close to one. It's close enough that the fallout probably blew over.
Let's take a look inside this cabin that's still standing. Looks like the roof is pretty caved in. Just a few appliances inside.
How long has that been there for?
You know, I'll have to double check on this one. So, unfortunately, a lot of the buildings have collapsed. Like 10 years ago, I think there was probably 4 or 5 more buildings still standing.
Right.
Let me see here.
What about 60s? Would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Probably 50s actually. Come to think about it.
And here we have some stone structures that are kind of built into the side of this hill.
It's amazing the wooden buildings are still standing.
Yeah, it would have dated back to the 50s for sure.
50s, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I know they were doing nuclear testing around that site, isn't it? Because that's where Area 51 was built, and I know they were doing testing around that area, which would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, this whole area of Nevada was like basically set aside for nuclear testing originally. The Nevada test site.
It's amazing how it's still standing with all the extreme temperatures it's gone through, isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, one nice thing about the desert is things actually are well preserved because of the dry air, so you don't get as much decay and rust. So
gotcha.
you get the sun beating down, so you have UV damage, but you don't get any rust really. So
right.
Like there's a saying, I forget who said it, but the desert never heals, because basically, if you leave something out there, it'll stay there for hundreds of years.
All right.
Yeah. It's like
beautiful landscape.
Look at the thank you.
It's stunning.
Those cows are keeping a
it is mind blowing
there. They're like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, it's a really unique environment.
Check out his videos because look, and I mean when you're on your motorbike or your electric bike, the scenery that you film is just stunning.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people in the Southwest kind of take it for granted. They're so used to the desert that they don't really recognize it as something spectacular. So I'm glad I can at least share that beauty with people on the other side of the world.
Now let's pull out the Geiger counter and see what it tells us about any potential radiation levels in the area.
See, Anders is out there risking radiation, risking the future of his children.
So it would seem.
Because that radiation lasts for like thousands of years, isn't it? I mean, they were nuking that place for a long period of time, isn't it? Whereabouts was this located, did you say?
So this is it's 22 miles northwest of Rachel, Nevada. So it's very close to the Nevada test site.
Okay. Because I'm looking to go to Contact in the Desert next year in America. And they do these trips to Rachel, like the area
climb up slightly there,
alien
37
calf
CPM,
or something like that.
So within the normal.
Yeah, the little alien.
The alien in, yeah.
I've been there quite a few times.
Oh, nice. So that's my plan for next year.
Touched 48 CPM there.
Yeah. Is this high radiation?
This is it's technically a little bit above what's considered normal background radiation. So it's not dangerous, but it's something that basically, it at some point probably had a higher level of radiation than it does now.
Another white pickup truck coming from the direction.
It's kind of interesting what you do next.
Test range entrance.
Because you flick up the dirt and the radiation reading goes up.
Yeah, it goes up a little bit. I just kicked up a little soil just to see, and it went up, I think, maybe 2 or 3 points.
But what does that mean? Does that mean because there was movement, or there is more because the radiation's getting in the ground in the air
And there we're crossing 55.
Yeah, it would have
CPM
just
after
been
I
more
started
in the
picking up
ground
some of
than
dust
in
on the
the
ground.
air. So disturbing the soil would have just kicked it up a little bit.
So the highest reading I saw on the Geiger counter was a 54. A little bit above the normal background level, according to my chart here. So there probably is a very slight amount of residual radiation from all the nuclear testing that was out here.
So yeah, nothing I was risking my health over, but it is kind of interesting that it is a little bit higher, and that's just due to the proximity of the nuclear testing. So
no, you'd be fine. I did see a video of these Russian guys going into Chernobyl and actually went swimming in the water. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. And they came back and did tests, and they were absolutely fine. I think they took what's that tablet you can take? Is it
iodine? Yeah.
Iodine, yeah, I know, absolutely fine. It's crazy, isn't it? You know what the body can actually take, isn't it? So
I've always wanted to do a Chernobyl tour. You know, I don't think it'll happen anytime soon with all the geopolitical things going on, but I've always wanted to go there and check it out. Probably not swim, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's a ghost town. That is something to behold, isn't it? Yeah.
That's kind of like the ghost town of all ghost towns. That's like the magnum opus.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I was just trying to think. In terms of what's your next project? What's in the near future? What you got installed?
Yeah, so I have kind of a long list of things I'm trying to hit in the next few months. So definitely Dugway Proving Ground. Are you familiar with that place?
No, I never heard of it. No.
So it's a place in the state of Utah. And a lot of people, I've been there before, but I just haven't done any videos on it yet. A lot of people call it like the new Area 51. Like there's rumors that a lot of projects that were at Area 51 got moved to Dugway Proving Ground. So it's basically another military test site. And it's kind of similar to Area 51 in that it's really remote. It's out there in the desert. So you could potentially hide stuff pretty well, like you can at Area 51. So I'm definitely going to be doing a series of videos on that. I'm going to be doing some more on Tickaboo Peak, which is the viewpoint of Area 51. It's the one spot you can actually go and view it from a distance. So I have some projects I'm going to do up there. I have a couple more in Southern California from some sites. I'll leave them secret for now because I don't want to tip them off that I'm going there. I received a tip actually from somebody who's a professional photographer who has captured some very interesting looking triangular craft coming from a particular point in Southern California. And I'm going to go to this place. And like I said, I don't want to divulge too much because if somebody sees this and they'll know I'm coming. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is something interesting I'm planning as far as that goes.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, are you still going to be doing more trips to obviously Area 51, but Tickaboo Peak? Tickaboo Peak. Could you actually see the facility from that area?
Yeah, so it's like 22 miles away, so it's far.
Bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah, so I did go up there. That was one of my first videos I did on Area 51 at the beginning of this year. I did nearly the proper optical equipment to capture it well. I have some really good stuff that I'm going to be bringing up there for my next trip. I have a camera with a 3000 millimeter zoom lens. And yeah, so I should be able to actually get some pretty high res photos and video with this. So that's going to be the next project as far as Area 51 goes.
You really want them camo guys to come and knock on your door?
I know, right?
Hey, I'm a nomad. They got to find my door first. I move all over the place.
This is it.
Well said.
So if Tickaboo Peak was surveilled and you couldn't get access to there, is there any other place? With your travel expertise, is there any other place you'd be able to view Area 51? If you don't give it away, otherwise.
Yeah, so there actually is. There is at least one more mountaintop where you can get a view of Area 51. That's not as well known as Tickaboo Peak. In fact, it doesn't even have a name, as far as I know. So I am going to be going to that one as well. I do have GPS coordinates, and I have kind of mapped out a trail. It's going to be a lot harder of a climb than Tickaboo Peak. It's going to be, hands and knees, pretty extreme. So I don't know how much camera gear I'll be able to bring up there. We'll have to see, just because, I got to pack food and water and things like that. So I'm going to be attempting that one. So probably after I do Tickaboo, because Tickaboo is surveilled is the thing. There is a camera on top, so they will actually cancel test flights if they know you're on the top of Tickaboo Peak. It's actually it's kind of interesting. So if you go to the top of Tickaboo Peak, there's a weather station with a camera on top. Nobody actually believes it's a weather station. It's basically a camera with a direct feed to the base. It's a fake weather station. It's really interesting, actually. But this other mountaintop that I'm talking about, it doesn't have a camera like that. So they if you're on that mountaintop, they potentially don't know that you're there. So you're more likely to see stuff in that regard. There's also one more mountain in Nevada that I want to climb, and it's a mountain that gives you a very distant view of Papoose Lake. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Papoose Lake. It's
no, haven't. No.
I'm not a big Bob Lazar fan, but that's where his S4 supposedly was located, the S4 facility. So I just kind of want to do a video up there because it'll be an interesting hike, and I want to film it, even if the S4 facility doesn't actually exist.
So thank you. Can I just say real quick, thank you so much, Rotary, man. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Rotary sent in a donation, and he said you are an awesome guest, and we're doing an awesome show. So thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Much appreciate, Rory. Thank you. With the technology, obviously, surveillance technology, I should say, with Area 51, I saw the video of you literally going up, and then you had this horn with literally the siren that was going. So how far can you get without you being detected? Is it all infrared now? I mean, what sort of technology are they using with surveillance?
Well, with surveillance, it's pretty easy to see somebody coming, because it's such a vast desert, and you're on these long straight roads that they can see. Like, as soon as you turn off the highway, there's cameras on the mountaintops. There's a mountain called Bald Mountain outside Area 51. They have like really, really high res cameras up there that they can, read your license plate from, however many miles away. It's crazy. So they can see you coming down the road very far. They also have sensors in the actual dirt roads approaching the base. So there'll be sensors that trip when you drive by them, and that'll alert the camo dudes that you're coming. So they'll be ready. That siren that you mentioned is actually a relatively new addition to Area 51. That's at the Bat Gate or the Rachel Gate. And I think they kind of just do that for intimidation purposes because it doesn't really serve any purpose besides that.
Right. Yeah.
Basically, like it's kind of interesting. They did the horn to me once, and then now, like, every time I've gone back after that, they don't even bother anymore. I guess they know me, but they know I'm not going to get scared away by it. But
exactly.
Yeah, that was something. I think they put it up in 2022. So before that wasn't there.
Is it more of a tourist attraction now?
It is in some ways, yeah. You'll get people that go up to the gates and take their selfies and turn away. But as far as like going to some of these like really remote crossings, the boundary crossings, you don't get a lot of people doing that. So there's some of these roads that you go down and it really kind of freaks the camo dudes out. They'll get kind of jumpy because it's a little more than just going up to the gate and taking a selfie that most people do. So
sure. Yeah. I mean, I would love to go to that place, honestly, at some point. Hopefully next year. It'd be cool.
Yeah. Hey, if you come on out, shoot me a message. I'll take you camping out here. And
oh, mate, that'd be awesome. Skywatching, because like I said, no pollution, and you see every single star in a galaxy. Oh, be amazing.
Yeah, man. Offer's definitely on the table for sure.
Okay, well, that's a plan then. I can't say no to that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. Sweet.
I'm just gonna thank you so much, One True Saxon, for your donation, man. Much appreciated. And I just wanted to butt in real quick because if you guys are wondering about this noise that comes whenever Anders approaches the gates, we got a clip of that. So I'll show you this noise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna advise you. What I'll do is I'll turn it down on my end.
Yeah.
Because
it's a jump scare.
Very, very deafening. And again, thank you very much, One True Saxon.
Yeah. And thank you, brother.
And Rotary. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. Here, let me get this up.
Sorry, I had a little hiccup there.
This is you at the entrance.
Yep. And this is what's called the Bat Gate or the Rachel Gate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I didn't do that right.
Yeah, put it bigger, man.
Yeah.
And this horn that you're about to hear, it's an actual guard manually pushing it. It's not automatic.
So there's no detectors. So here it comes, guys. I've turned it
Well,
down.
they know I'm there, but they manually do the horn. Yep.
I have turned this down, so it is quite loud.
Yeah.
And they shine you with the floodlights in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
Don't
the
they
middle of the
understand?
day.
Wow.
Don't they understand we need to economize on the electricity? They probably got their own solar plant out there, or they're probably using reverse engineering tech.
Yeah, little nuclear reactors, maybe. I don't know.
All right, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
Have you ever had anyone come out, a personnel, an employee come out and say, sling your rook?
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, so I haven't had that, and it's kind of interesting. So the camo dudes or the security at Area 51, they'll never talk to you unless you cross the border. So they'll basically always, they'll kind of drive their trucks right up to you and stare at you. But it's actually like in their handbook that they're not to engage with the public at all. Which is kind of creepy because they'll just be watching you, and you can go up to them and they'll usually kind of back away from you if you start approaching them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really it's almost like it kind of feels like they're video game NPCs in a way. It's really weird. Other military installations, they'll definitely come out and talk to you and tell you to knock it off sometimes if you're filming.
Sure.
Yeah, Area 51 and things like that are a little bit unique.
Was where that horn, I believe somebody asked where that horn was going off. Was that in Rachel?
Yeah, that's it's the Rachel gate or the Bat gate. It's not in Rachel, but it's the closest gate to Rachel, essentially.
And that gate would lead you into the Area 1 facility.
Yep.
Area 51, Area 1.
It's still a little ways away, but that is a gate to Area 51, and that's the gate that a lot of traffic as far as bringing supplies in comes in and out. So that's where like I filmed that truck. You'll see a lot of activity at that gate.
And there's and I mean, if you watch his videos, because I don't want to show too much, but watch his videos, you'll see the trucks. You'll also see these white pickup trucks that are always following you or watching you, but they stay at that one did come by you, and did you say he winked at you, or
he waved at me like briefly? Yeah, which I.
But they look like they're masked up, though. Am I correct in that?
Yep. So they also, in addition to not talking to the public, they're not supposed to show their faces to the public either. So they have their like balaclavas pulled up over their face usually, which is it adds to the creepiness factor for sure.
Makes you think what's going on in that truck, isn't it?
Yeah. But I did have one wave at me. Usually they're just like stone cold and they won't do anything.
They probably got to know your van though by now.
Probably. I imagine they did. Yep.
Yeah. I can imagine you traveling down the extraterrestrial highway, giving off like a lot of dust coming from the traveling in your vehicle. That's a sign that someone's coming, isn't it?
Yeah. The dust on that dirt road off the highway, it throws up a cloud probably 200 feet up in the air. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go on, Hayden.
Where would Area 52 be?
So Area 52, there is actually a designation of Area 52, and that's the Tonopah Test Range. It's kind of near that ranch that I was at in that video. So the gate that I went to after I went to that ranch is actually a gate to Area 52. Now, Area 52 is really just a designation. So the whole Nevada test site, it's split up into different areas. If you look at a map, there's like Area 2, Area 14. So that's just kind of a military designation. A lot of people call that place I was mentioning Dugway Proving Ground. That's kind of called Area 52 sometimes because people call it like the new Area 51. But that's more of a colloquial term, not the official designation.
So you wouldn't necessarily have any sightings or anything there.
I mean, I don't know. You know, the Tonopah test range, I'm actually going to do some more in-depth videos on it coming up, because it is another experimental site where a lot of military testing does happen. So you could potentially get something there. It's a little bit less remote than Area 51. Like there actually are some pretty good viewpoints of the Tonopah test range. Whereas, you know, Area 51, you just have the 22-mile away Tikaboo Peak. So I don't think there's as secret projects happening at Tonopah, essentially. But, you know, I don't know for sure.
See, when I was a youngster and I really didn't know, I always thought, why do they always talk about Area 51? And it's, to me, I always said, why aren't we looking at like Area 52? Because to me, I think a lot of things that the government will do is a rope-a-dope. They'll show you this, but they're going to hit you with that. So to me, they want you to look at Area 51. They want you to be fascinated with this area. So you don't look at Area 52 or you don't look at Area 50.
There is, I think some truth to that potentially. But like I was saying earlier, Area 51 is kind of like, it's a perfect location for a test site because it's really hard to actually see what goes on there. You know, a lot of people know about it. You can go up to the gates, but you know, going up to the gates, like I haven't learned anything more about what's going on there than I knew before. You know what I mean? So it's still very, very secluded, and it's secluded enough. Also has good supply lines and easy access for personnel. You know, because you can build a base in the middle of Antarctica, but it's a lot harder to get supplies down there. You know what I mean? If you wanted to be really, really away from prying eyes, you could do something like that, but you don't have the logistics of, you know, being able to get personnel and supplies, things like that. So I do think a lot still happens at Area 51. That said, you know, I'm sure there are other sites out there that they have moved different projects to. There's some, you know, in the Nevada test site is such a vast piece of land, and Area 51 is just a small part. There's a place called it's called the Device Assembly Facility, the DAF, and it's a giant underground complex that's you can't see this at all, but it's in like the middle of the Nevada test site. And basically what goes on there, like none of us will ever know. Like it's a lot more remote than Area 51. And so there's places like that basically that they could be doing a lot of what you assume is at Area 51 at places like that too. So
do you think I'll just go
go
on. You go first and then I'll ask mine.
Oh yeah, no worries. Do you think a lot of this technology is not kept in warehouses? I think it's more or less in underground facilities now, out of the way of the public.
I think so.
I
think there definitely is a large underground component to a lot of these facilities. You know, the Hellendale place that I went to, the RCS facility, like I said, that goes 200 feet below ground, and there's all kinds of rumors about that place that, you know, they have like continuity of government bunkers. There's all kinds of rumors about underground UFO UAP facilities at that place too. So
could I stop you real quick? When you're saying continuities of government, could you explain that in layman terms?
Yeah, so basically that just means like an underground bunker where they would rush government officials to in the event of like a nuclear war or something like that. So kind of like, you know, Cheyenne Mountain. Have you guys heard of that place?
Yeah, Cheyenne Mountain. Yeah,
just like an underground facility where you could basically run government functions in the event of a nuclear war. So you have a lot of places like that around America. There's some in like the Northeast too.
Isn't it rumored that there's one underneath the Denver airport?
Denver airport. Yeah, that's a rumor.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
I'm sure they even got a McDonald's there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that place is weird. There's all the strange murals and things like that.
That's insane. That's insane.
Is that with the horse with the glowing eyes? Yeah. Denver Airport,
it's like the guy with the gas mask on the horse.
And that's the mural. But just outside as you drive into the airport, there's a black horse with the red eyes. Do you know the story behind that? Do you know the story behind that?
Tell me.
The guy who did that, I believe the horse fell on him and he died.
What happened? Yeah, The guy who actually created and built the horse, the statue that's outside Denver Airport, the head fell off and killed him. Actually crushed him.
God.
It's just I shouldn't laugh.
Wow.
Really, it's just like there's so many weird things going on. You know.
And so when I hear stories like that, I first of all think of like a blood thing going down here, but we're not going to go into that because this is different kind. But what I wanted to ask you now, in your impressions of what you have been, because of the time that you spent out there or anything, do you think, in your opinion, do you think there's anything alien, otherworldly going on out there?
Like at Area 51 specifically?
At Area 51 or in the skies above it? Or from what you've seen, sorry.
Yeah, you know, I think there is. You know, I haven't seen necessarily anything that guarantees that it's extraterrestrial. You know, like I said, I've seen satellites that look like they change direction and things like that. But is that extraterrestrial, or is it just something really advanced that the military is working on? I don't know. I do personally believe that there is truth to the stories of extraterrestrial craft at this base. I just think, I honestly, you know, I don't have the hard evidence.
Damn Elon. That's Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I personally think that, and this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
From what I've been seeing going on, I think if anybody would have alien tech or an alien craft, not the bodies, the craft, it would be the DOE.
Yeah, you know, because there's the whole thing with basically the classification levels in the U.S. government. The Department of Energy has kind of the highest because of the Manhattan Project. So you know, the Department of Energy runs so much of the Nevada test site, which encompasses Area 51. Like I said, the device assembly plant that I mentioned that has the underground facility, that's a Department of Energy facility.
So I didn't know that. So you're saying basically Area 51 comes under the umbrella of the Department of Energy. Is that?
Well, it's run by the Air Force. It's at various times been run by the Air Force and CIA together. Now I think it's just the Air Force and the private contractors that are operating there. But the Nevada test site as a whole, which if you were to pull up a map of Nevada, it's like the whole center of Nevada basically is the Nevada test and training range. The Department of Energy runs a lot of that. So, you know, they definitely have their hand in what's going on at Area 51, at these other sites.
Because the thing that, guys, I don't know if you know, and I'm going to say it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong on this, is the Department of Energy, the DOE, is the only one that you cannot send in a request. They don't have to answer it for freedom of information. They don't have to succumb to that. Am I wrong or right in that?
Well, there's other classification levels, like in all branches of the military, where I don't think they have to respond. But you're right in that the DOE has essentially like the most classified of the classifications, basically, is the best way I could explain it. And that's because of the Manhattan Project. It really all started with that, the nuclear testing. Anything that involves UFOs, UAPs, it probably is under the umbrella of that.
Well, this is why it's a good segue, because in my community chat, if you scroll down it, there was about a diamond-shaped UFO that was seen over one of the facilities, and this information, although it's heavily redacted, came from the Department of Energy, the DOE. They released it, and I was blown away by it. And I did make it, even though some people wrote and said, "Well, it's really nothing," but because it's not what's in it. It's just what they did, because they did describe a diamond-shaped object. You can see that clearly. Everything else is redacted. So, I mean, for them to release something like that, I was blown away. Away. And I don't think I will ever see something like that again in my lifetime, that they will come out and say that there was a UFO around where they were.
I don't think I've seen the diamond-shaped craft. I'll have to look into that.
It's on my community. It's on my community page. You have to scroll down, but it says, "Guys, my mind is blown." I think that's how I opened it up.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. That is interesting because if they're releasing that publicly, that's odd.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it did come from the Department of Energy. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think you know because we mentioned it on one of our shows we did, and to be honest with you, there is a number of footage of these like diamond-shaped craft in the sky. It's really strange. I mean, yeah, sure, some of them could be quite faked.
Also, the implication in that is that for them to release something like that, they're basically saying it's not ours.
Yeah.
Unless it's the rope-a-dope again. Because look what's going on at the moment. I'm not going heavily into it, but look what's going on where they're saying now they've been supplying false, fake pictures and giving fake stories to these whistleblowers. Now, again, it's all crap, mate. It's
right.
Stick with the hidden underbelly. I'll show you, and we'll get guests. Like, look, we got Anders here. This is the guy who's out there, seeing stuff and filming these filmed an exotic craft, and who knows what? Because one of your night visions, you also put up the radar tracker, and although there was several planes up there, only one was on the flight tracker.
Well, that was the drones. They had 2 drones out, like I said, and they had a more conventional drone on the flight tracker, and they had a much weirder looking drone that wasn't on the flight tracker. So,
yes.
So, I mean, you do more than that. I saw some videos. You got to check it out where you explore caves.
Yeah, that's So I do a lot of mine exploration and mines and tunnels. There's a lot of those in Nevada. So you'll definitely, if you check out my channel, you'll see a few of those. There's actually a huge abandoned tunnel complex. It's all old mining tunnels, like right basically on the border of Area 51. So that's kind of cool to explore. I've been there a few times.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Have you tried to get in contact with Lockheed Martin to say, would you mind? I know it's a shot in the dark. It's a pretty stupid question to ask, but just ask to have like an interview with somebody that works there. Is it always a tricky situation?
Sorry, I had a little audio hiccup there again.
Sorry.
Damn me long.
I know, right? I had such faith in him, but
so did Donald Trump.
I was gonna say, have you ever tried to get in contact with any like employees from like Lockheed Martin or anything like that? Because I remember one of your videos, they're saying there's a cafe where the Area 51 employees go into before they're coached off into the actual facility itself. Have you made an attempt to actually speak to anybody?
I haven't exactly I haven't come into contact in person with any employees that would other than security, that they're not going to talk to me. Like I said, I did get that one message from a Skunk Works employee asking me about the footage that I shot, but it's one of those things like I couldn't quite tell what the intentions were, so I was kind of being a little bit not super forthcoming with my conversation with him. So yeah, I would be open to doing it, but I haven't necessarily had a good opportunity where I felt like it was something that I could do, just because it is such a secretive world, and it's kind of hard to pierce that bubble.
Yeah, sure.
But it is something that could happen at some point. I'm definitely open to it. If anybody's listening who wants to tell me some inside knowledge, I'm all ears. If any Skunk Works employees are listening to the Hidden Underbelly,
wave the white flag, wave it high and clear.
Right. The thing is like we're at this point now where we see ufology for what it is. I mean, there's a lot of like psyop and disinformation being put forward that pushing the community in different directions. I mean, if someone did come forward with information for you, it might not be the correct information. It might put you on a different track. I think this is where we are now. We think to be. This is why I quite like about your approach to the subject is that you have a 50-50, a more based, realistic conclusion first of all before you just jump to say, okay, this is extraterrestrial craft or something like that. That's what I appreciate, and that's where I am at the moment. It took me a while to get there, but so I think we've got to be like really careful, like in terms of like where the information that we're kind of receiving at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I like to, as you say, I take a very skeptical, but believing kind of an attitude to it. So with my videos, I kind of just go out to these places. I don't have a particular expectation of what I'm looking for. I just want to capture whatever I see, and whatever conclusion that leads me to, so be it. Essentially,
yeah.
I just have to say much love to my sister Tamara. Thank you for popping in. Haven't seen you for a while. Don't be a stranger, Tamara. Much love to you.
Much love. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I was going to ask you your nighttime vision camera. I need to grab this off you, and because I just want to check out the price. Is it an expensive camera?
So the device that I'm talking about is actually not a camera itself. It's a monocular that you're supposed to look through, but I have an adapter that allows me to screw it onto the front of my lenses. So the night vision device is called a PVS 14 Gen 3. I don't think you can legally get them in the UK. It's basically a US military night vision device, and there's actually very, very strict export around it. If I were to take it on a plane to the UK, for example, I would face 10 years in prison.
Wow.
You're joking? No way.
No, it's called ITAR, ITAR. It's a regulation for military technology, and you're actually not allowed to bring it outside the US. There's some gray market ones out there I think you can find. I think they may come through Canada, but it's a lot harder to get in the UK than it is in the US. And price ranges in the US, depending on the quality of the unit, it can be anywhere from $1,000 to about $4,000 US dollars.
Really?
I paid about $3,500 US dollars for my unit.
But it's worth it. But it's worth it.
Again, that's not when you're recording. It's
Elon, fix it, man, fix it.
Yeah, I'm looking at this camera now, and it is.
Sorry, Elon let me down again for a second there. Sorry.
He doesn't want you to talk about this stuff, man.
No, he doesn't. I'm waiting for one of those Starlink trains to fly over, but they're not coming.
Yeah, I'm looking at this camera now. Is like more or less military grade equipment here. You can get some like cheap knockoff ones you can get in England, like worth 300 quid, but I don't know if it's probably worth it or not.
No, and see, that's what I started with. Like my first video from Tikaboo Peak, I only had like a made in China, like $300 unit, and it was okay. But after I started getting more views on my YouTube channel, I was like, okay, I'm gonna reinvest all the ad revenue I'm making into better gear. That's basically what I did. So I got a better camera. I got the PVS 14 night vision. I got a spotting scope. I kind of just went all out. So
you have better equipment than Skywatchers, Jake Barbara from Skywatchers. It just seems to be getting more clearer footage than
apparently I do. And I actually commented that on one of the posts about him. I'm like, why aren't they, hiring me to come out there? Because apparently my little YouTube channel has better equipment than this big, massive thing. So
exactly. Yeah. Do you do this for like full-time living then? I don't want to get too much into your personal life. I just want to see like
I'm happy to get into it. At the moment I don't, but that's going to be changing here in the next couple of months. So I do plan on actually going full time with YouTube. So what I do for my primary job is I work at national parks here in the US. So that's kind of what I was doing the 4 years traveling in my RV is I've been going to all these national parks and working. I work at the Grand Canyon in Arizona this summer. So I'm kind of saving up some money. I'm doing a little bit of a construction project on some land I own out here in Arizona to kind of build myself a little like editing studio and storage for some gear. After I get that done, about next month, I'm going to be back on the road full time, and I do plan on doing YouTube full time.
Nice, great.
Are you running? One of the viewers are asking. Rotary's asking. Are you running solar panels for free energy?
Yeah. I do have 550 watts of solar panels on my van. I also have a system where I have a battery bank and the alternator charges it while I drive. So that's another way I get power. when I'm working at the Grand Canyon, I have an electrical hookup, so I use the power there. But when I'm off the grid, I can stay usually about 2 weeks fully off grid with water, power, everything before I have to go refill the water and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, so you're quite
yeah,
self-efficient.
it's a fun life.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah. That's
Well,
awesome, man.
Well,
How many batteries? So it's I have about 650 amp hours of battery.
wow, that's a lot.
So you got no electric generator then? It's just purely running off, basically recharging the battery and solar panels.
Yeah, that's primarily what I do. I do have a portable generator just in case of emergencies, like if it was a cloudy day and my alternator were to fail. I don't use it very often though. Maybe once a year I'll drag it out. So
sweet. Well, you're fully self-efficient. What would you call it? I think that's freelancers. Is that freelance in this country, Hidden? There's a name for them, the people that sort of go off grid. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would just call it off grid.
I call it
off grid. Yeah,
off
grid. Yeah.
I don't know
awesome.
though. I don't know because the only time I ever met somebody I was on holiday and I met this guy and he was doing the van life thing, but he wasn't like filming it. He was living it, and because he told me his story. You know, like he lost his house in a divorce and everything, so he just bought this van, kitted the van out. And he just drives around all over England and parks up. So I met him on holiday. And what was weird is we were talking and he goes, I know you from somewhere. And I said, Birmingham? And he goes, hold on a second. And he come back and he goes, what's your channel?
Nice. I've had a few people come up to me and tell me they recognize me from my videos too. It's happened to me twice. Both times.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. Both times at a gas station in Nevada. It was kind of funny. I actually had one guy too. One guy and his daughter. They were out visiting. They were on a road trip through Nevada, and I happened to be out by the back gate filming a video. And the guy was like, "I recognize you. You have that little red motorcycle, don't you?" I'm like, "Yep, that's me." And then him and his daughter came out, and I took them camping at a spot that I know of, and I let them look through my night vision, and they had a good time. So
yeah, you mentioned is that the one that you mentioned in your video?
Yeah, I mentioned him in that one. Yep.
So we're gonna wrap this up because we've hit the hour and a half mark, but. Can you stick around and check out some videos? Because I know
I'd love to. Absolutely.
Well, guys, I haven't done this for a long time, and I know, but I do have a premiere that I want to premiere here first before it goes on my channel. So, I think if you got one, this is the point in the show where you roll up and time to kick back, because I know some of you want to come and see some UFO footage that. So I talk too much, blah, blah, blah. So let me get this up. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate this bit. All right. I got it. I know what I'm doing now. Let me see.
You'd be showing some blurry footage. It better be better than Jeremy Corbell's footage.
I'll tell you one thing, Nick, it's better than your footage.
Or that tiny ball of light or captured through the sky. Yeah.
No, I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing.
I can't capture anything. I
Where are we going?
Capture shooting stars.
People
like
forget how hard it is to actually capture good footage. Like people say like, oh, everybody has cell phones these days. Why don't we have more footage? It's hard.
It's difficult,
especially with cell phones, because they're designed. They're designed to film close up, not far away.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, we kind of know this, but not a lot of layman people do. Or is it? To me, I think sometimes people just say things to say things.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Welcome to 2025.
I'm really trying my hardest to get this video up. There we go. I think I got it now. Whoops. All right, because I had to put it in private settings. So.
But otherwise, Anderson, it's a pleasure having you on. It's nice to actually finally speak to you. And next year, when I'm planning to hopefully come over to Contact of the Desert, meet up definitely down the what's it called? The Alien Inn, the cafe.
Yeah, they call it the little alien.
Little alien. All right.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome coming on the show. I've been having a great time. So I
That's
appreciate
awesome, man.
No,
Yeah,
thanks
I
for
appreciate
coming,
it.
man.
And as I said, I'd be happy to take you out camping out in the desert too. So when you come down here,
You have to take me to Tikaboo Peak. That would be like a tick off my bucket list.
yes, prepare for the most intense hike you've probably done in your life, unless you're a mountain climber.
I'm quite fit and active. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but no, I can handle that. That's no problem.
Awesome, good.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So again, guys, the link to Anders' channel is in the description box. That's Uncanny Expeditions. Did I say that right?
Yep, you got it.
Good. Because I remember I had a guest on here before, and his channel was called Adventures to Anywhere. And because I was smoking, and we were having a chat, I shouted him out as Adventures to Nowhere.
Typical hidden.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, let me give you a history. I dropped 2 videos on the channel. One was the Beijing sphere, and I didn't know that there was 2 other videos. And I was talking to a guy named Dueling Gox, and he helped me a lot. He helped me get the other videos, and he also stabilized. He did a great job. So that's what you're going to see. And also, so this is just an update video, and the other one is about the Toronto sighting, because I don't know if you guys know, the people who follow me on X or on Facebook or Discord will know that Chrissy Newton looked into this video. And what I do want to say is that other channels that have put the Toronto sighting up, and they've dropped the ball with it. What they have done is they gave the wrong information. There was one channel said that this was sighted. Now this is what bums me out. So I'm going to go with the first one. The first channel that was doing the wrong information was my friend Mavi. Now he put it up as the 5th of June. Now this did not happen at the 5th of June. What he done was he put up when I posted the video, even though it clearly states in the video the date of the sighting. So Mavi, you dropped the ball. The other one who dropped the ball, and I think this is even bigger ball dropper, I'm not going to call his name because we're friends, but he said it happened on the 2nd of June. But what he did was he quoted Chrissy Newton, and clearly in Chrissy Newton's video, she said, I investigated it on the 28th of May. So I don't know how he missed that, but he did. So guys, without any further ado, if you got one, roll it, because I believe this is about a 7-minute long video, but we're going to be looking at some footage. So here, let me get it going. I hope this guy don't copyright me for using the intro, because I heard he's a turd. Guys, I just want to give you a quick update on 2 videos that I posted previously. Now, the first years out, the metal sphere that was seen over in Beijing. Now, I posted one video, but there turns out there were 2 other videos. So let's take a look at it, and also let's take a look at some stabilized and enhanced footage of these 3 footages. Now, at the end, I'm going to talk because there's not really much sound. At the end, there's going to be a guy emerging from the bottom. Now, many people are writing to me saying, this guy, he's carrying a drone controller. Now, if this is a drone controller, it's one, because it looks like he's carrying a slab of rock to me. But if this is a drone controller, that's one big box for one joke.
And with drones, you can hear the sound of the propellers, isn't it, from a distance?
Yeah, depending on how big the drone is.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty huh.
Yeah, the rapid descent is really interesting.
Yeah, and it like stops, doesn't it? In midair.
Yeah.
You can tell there's definitely an object in the sky because this is the third video that someone's caught this.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Same...
He shot 3 videos.
Ah, right.
It would have been way better if it was 3 individual people that caught this.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I thought that was
But it does look metallic. It does look silver. Now here comes the enhancements. I had to put in the music. It's just the way YouTube is with me. And the enhancements are all in order, so they're following the first video, second video, and third video. See? Did you see that's a slab of rock?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Now somebody's telling me that's the controller for the drone.
Yeah, it didn't look like a controller.
I know it's not, but you can't argue with stupid.
Right.
They'll beat you every time on experience. That's pretty good, isn't it? I think the last video is more telling because it actually stops, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Thanks again to doing Gox for doing a stabilization. I bugged the hell out of him on Reddit. But he's a cool person and helped me out loads. Look at that. That looks really good. Hope you guys like that. Now, the next footage that we're going to take a look at is a video that I posted about a UFO that was sighted in Toronto. Now, this was a really good video, but a lot of people were coming at me saying, this is crane, this is a building. Now, Chrissy Newton went out on the 28th of May and conducted an investigation to see what this possibly could be. So let's take a look at the footage again to refresh our memories and look at what Chrissy Newton discovered.
Hey, don't freak out, you guys, but there's a UFO hovering above Toronto.
It's just like
just remember where that object is.
Where is it? Oh, I gotta move the camera. Not like, why can't I find it?
right up there, right up there.
Oh my god, look, it's triangular in shape. What is
Oh my
it?
God, I don't know.
I'm scared.
I don't mind about being
my
shadow
God.
banned because you guys get the word out there, so it don't bother me.
What is it, you guys? Are we being visited? Are we being visited by the UFOs?
So remember where that was.
Right, so this is May 28th in Toronto. No, the crane.
See, it would have been way up there, wouldn't it?
Right
There's the
there
crane.
it is.
There's the crane that people are saying that it is. It's no way at that level.
It is way farther up.
Yeah, way too tall.
Those are the buildings. So you would just have to have 3 lights on in them buildings in a triangle formation.
You know, so
And they're
here
not
is
even by
the
there.
Tower and
Yeah.
the Rogers Center is far
People came
down
at
that
me and said
area,
it
so
was a
it'd be way
CNC
too far
tower,
for
which
it
is
to
over
cover it
there.
over as opposed
That
to
red
Malone
building.
prop or anything else.
Yeah.
Go
So
figure.
I spoke to someone at the Post Malone show, and they said there was no UFO prop material, nothing like that. So it wasn't a crane, folks, because the crane, as you can see, is right in that region. Let's zoom in again. You can see it's like right where the building is. There it is.
Bear in mind, when you have a crane in operation, it will be a flashing light on top of it to indicate the helicopters that
the original footage
the crane's in the sky.
Yeah, I've never seen a crane with just 3 solid
Yeah,
lights like that.
yeah. I've never
Um,
seen that, and it's
yeah.
definitely a flashing light on top of it. I always
Yeah.
know that.
Especially if it's that high up like it was in the first clip. Like it would have had to been pretty high.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
that's an interesting clip. Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to say is the reason I understand the reason why Chrissy Newton went to ask Post Malone about could it be were you doing any UFO pyrotechnics or anything like that, because me personally, hand on heart, and you guys who have been with the channel for a while now would have known my Ramstein blunders. You've heard of Ramstein, yeah?
Yep.
Ramstein caught me out not once, but twice. So you have to, certain things you have to take a look at. Like, I mean, Ramstein's known. Ramstein is a German, what would you say, heavy metal band?
Metal band, yeah.
They're proper metal band, but they are known for their amazing light shows, and they are amazing, and they're that amazing that they fooled me, and they fooled. I mean, I got to take it. I can't sit there and say, well, you know, it weren't just me they fooled, but it wasn't just me they fooled. They fooled a lot of people. I was probably the only one that came out and said, Ramstein, you got me.
So they projected something into the sky then? Is that what happened?
Yeah. They projected this long beam of light, but from where the person who took it obviously didn't know it was Ramstein. So they filmed it and it looked like it was just coming out of the desert. But the location, they said, look over here, Ramstein. And then when you look, because a lot of people film the Ramstein concerts because of their amazing lights. So we saw in the footage this same exact high beam of light shooting up in the sky. And then Ramstein did another one in Milton Keynes that got me. So but as soon as I found out it was Milton, and I thought I did a great job, because when I saw the light and because it pulsed, it was really cool. And I thought, well, and I said to myself, Ramstein, let me check. And I checked to see if Ramstein was doing a concert in Milton Keynes, and I didn't find it. So I posted a video. Next thing I know, somebody said Ramstein was playing Milton Keynes. And gave me the link, and everything matched up, the dates and everything. So I had to put my hands up and say, oh, okay, Ramstein probably got me again. So I've never made that mistake with Ramstein. So that's why I'm saying that they're asking about could Post Malone have anything to do with it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious if it could be 3 lights projected from the ground up onto the cloud cover. That'd be the only other potential like debunk I could see somebody throwing out.
But to me, see, that's the one thing. See, in the original video, I did mention that because in my opinion now, because you got the fog, because it is a foggy night, you would have surely seen the beam going up.
Yeah, you should have. Unless the fog was really high altitude, like it was.
Because I've seen, like, we've got festivals like around that area, and there are lights in the sky. Nothing quite as bright as that. You never see a beam go up. It's so weird. You see these lights like circling around the cloud. Obviously, it's got to be a cloud cover, obviously. But I never seen
talking about where they projected upwards and they do like circular patterns and things like that. Yeah. So you can sometimes get the right conditions where you don't see the beam like you would expect. So that is
if you had like a fog or mist, you probably better see it most probably.
But then again, see, the only person that would have done that would have been Post Malone,
right?
Because it hasn't been seen since. So, I mean, I'm with it. I till somebody can identify it. Anybody can throw what they want to it. They can say it's this and more. I had one person tell me it's a helicopter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a helicopter.
Well, I used reason and I explained why this ain't a helicopter, because given where they are, if it was a helicopter, well, guess what? You'll hear the engines. Given where they are, you would have saw some flashing light, red.
Yeah, on the list of debunks, I'd say helicopter is probably towards the bottom of most likely. It's no way it's a helicopter.
So,
for sure.
So on our next one, we've got to discuss this. And guys, sorry, look out tomorrow because I am going to do a video on this. I've been waiting. It's the Corbell drop, and I have been hesitant because Corbell. I mean, you guys want to explain about Corbell and why we would be hesitant because of his past crimes?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really trust anything he comes up with. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And it seems to be a very common recurrence. Now, just because you released this video and everyone's, I mean, quite right, well, praising him, but just because you got a free pass on this one doesn't mean you're in my good books for this. So I'm still skeptical. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep an open mind. However, it's who's giving this information to him. I would like to know where is the video footage coming from? Obviously, through it says military backgrounds, personnel is given this information. Is like, well, hold the footage. Sorry, so I'm thinking, hold on a minute. You need a clearance to show this footage. There's a whole bunch of questions I need asking, and like I was mentioning about earlier, that whether or not Jeremy Corbell was releasing this. Pretty poor footage, I have to admit. It is poor footage. It's not good. I could put up footage from the 90s from Mexico that are way better than this. So again, it's a bit better than what he's produced, but I'm still keeping my arm's distance away from Jeremy Corbell. I'm just become 50-50 on anything he puts out, really. So, but yeah.
Well, given that, because I didn't jump on it straight away. I did jump on it straight away on my socials, but I didn't jump on it to put it on my channel because, again, I'm with you, Nick. I am a bit hesitant, but here we go. I'm waiting to see this getting debunked. And as far as I am watching, it is not getting debunked. But and I think it is a very interesting piece of footage. So I am going to put it out on the channel tomorrow, but I will promise you guys, because I put integrity first. And if there is a plausible debunk that I do agree with, I will show you that and say, well, look, this is what they're saying. Or sometimes with like the Boken one, a guy went out and he actually recreated the triangular craft that they put out. So to me, I thought, well, here you are, you nailed it. You showed us how it's done. You know what I mean? So you nailed this one. Because a lot of people, I deal with footage. So like I said to you before, I get things thrown at my footage, like the Toronto one. Like I said, for example, it's a helicopter, it's a building, it's a crane. And I'm glad that Chrissy Newton, God bless you, thank you so much. And I'm not name dropping, but I'm glad you went out to investigate this footage. It shows that there are some people out there that when they do have the chance, some big names, because we've heard of Chrissy Newton, and some big names, when they got the opportunity to go out there and investigate a sighting, they do so. So good on you for that. But if you haven't seen this footage, let's take a look at it, because I do think it's interesting. I do think it needs to be looked at. Where am I? There I am.
So is this the original footage we're seeing here? Okay, so where is this object?
I'm just about to say it, mate. So the coordinates were shot according to the data on here. This is over the Afghan Pakistan border.
Yep.
There it goes. When I get my grubby hands on it, trust me, I'm gonna work this video. So I'm gonna bring it out for you. You'll be able to see it a lot better. But I think he did a good job in trying to enhance it. I don't like the use of AI. I think he could have enhanced it in the editing suite without AI. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, you basically just need to pump up the contrast and like denoise it a little bit. I don't think you necessarily needed AI for that.
Because that kind of that muddies it up a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't like that it kind of caused a little bit of distortion as it's moving. You can see the shape distort. That that kind of undermines it in my opinion. But
let me try and
Yeah,
push it
because
again.
that's given the perspective is actually given a reflection off the light. But if you look at the original footage, you can't see anything. So AI is a useful tool, but I think Jerry Corbell, whoever enhanced this, has become very lazy and used the tool of AI, which hasn't really done a good job. I mean, it's given a
I think
false
it's lazy.
perspective.
In this clip, I could kind of maybe make out like a little bit of glint of moonlight in the original, very faint, right there,
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this footage. Otherwise, it's given a whole because this is what I would keep on seeing. Is this footage being seen? Even like it distorts a little bit. Yeah, you are right on that one. Yeah, if you look.
But that could be in the compression of the footage.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think it's the AI misinterpreting the compression.
Indeed,
of
as
the
well.
original. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna work the video that I'll put out tomorrow. I will work the original because it's. I mean, I think I might degrade. I wish I could get him to send me over the original file for me to work on, but he won't.
Mm-hmm.
He'll say, "Who's the hidden underbelly?" I'm not going to send that over to him. I heard what he said about my palms video.
Yeah. Well, hey, a lot of people have said a lot of things about that at this point.
But this is in the circles now. This video is because sometimes you don't not necessarily look at the man, but look at what he's put out. And on this one, I'm not seeing anybody come at him. I mean, remember when Loeb put up his picture? I mean, within an hour they were on him.
Yeah, the crops. Yeah.
So I'm gonna check this. I will be dropping this sometime tomorrow, and possibly another one because Anders has sent me over the original footage. So I'll have a look at that, and we'll check out and see if it's AI or something wrong with it. So
yeah, I'm curious to see a little bit of a deep dive on that one.
Sorry about that. Here, we'll bring that down.
Yeah, I would agree with Rotary on that one. Media frenzy.
Well, but that's him all over. I mean, don't forget. Jeremy Corbell is essentially an entertainer. He's a filmmaker. He's a documentary guy. So that's where he is. That's where he is. That's why before the show started, we did have a conversation about this video. Mm-hmm. And my personal opinion is because Aidan, Anders, what did you say? Was it you said something about there's some other videos?
Oh yeah, so I did watch the full Weaponized podcast episode on it, and he did say that his source told him that there are different angles captured from different surveillance platforms of this same object. It sounded like he didn't have possession of that footage, but it was kind of hard to tell. It wasn't completely clear, but it sounds like other angles do exist. At least that's what he's been told.
So, what my opinion with those two, this is just me, is the other videos, if he does get him, I don't know if he's going to drop him. I hope he would, so we can take a look. But I got a funny feeling there's going to be another documentary coming out, and that's where we're going to see it. And
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
There is money in it. That's what it's about. You know, everybody wants to get paid. Everybody wants to eat. Some want to eat steaks, and others are happy with burgers.
Yeah,
that's where you're at.
I'm okay with the burgers myself, but
yeah.
So,
I mean, ufology is a business and an industry.
It is. It's a bit. If you can get, and I don't like to insult, and I'm not insulting people. But if you can get a guy, I believe Abby Loeb got 100 million to go trail, was it the Pacific Ocean for these little metal balls?
Yeah.
Do you think to hire a ship and a crew that's going to cost 100 million?
No.
Okay, the net may have cost a lot of money because they had to attach magnets to it to get these little metal balls.
Maybe.
But there is a lot of money in it. There is a lot of money for for the right people in the right circles. Because there's not a lot of money in it for me. There's next to nothing because once I cover the cost of the internet bill, there's nothing. Not that I'm passing the cap around, because I ain't, because I enjoy what I do. And I always say, if you guys watch my videos, I will make what I need from ad revenues. That's why I don't have a Patreon. I don't ask you guys to sign up to memberships and all that. You know, I mean, like somebody like you, Anders, because you're doing your own stuff, you're filming your own materials, you could easily have a members only thing where you can. But me personally,
Yeah,
I don't see the point, man.
yeah, I don't care to really dive into that either. You know, I thought about maybe doing a Patreon, but I mostly just I'm okay with the ad revenue. I really am. You know, I've reinvested most of what I've made back into gear, and
that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I sell, you know, I have a merch page where people can buy shirts and stuff. You know, I sell maybe 2 or 3 of those a month. You know, hey, that helps too. So every little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for the people in chat and anyone who's like watching this in the future, yeah, please support Anderson and Uncanny Adventures. Is that right?
Expeditions. Close.
Expeditions. Oh my god, I knew I said it, and I was like, I'm not going to get it wrong. As soon as I opened my mouth, I do apologize, but yeah, I think
don't worry.
You need to support
I
as
don't
much.
care, yeah.
And you need the support, man. And like I said, if you could put like an extra for like $5 or something like that, even like a couple of dollars, it goes a long way. Because honestly, I want to see you succeed and capturing that footage, so
Thanks,
we could use that content, and obviously it puts you on the map as well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, starting in I'm going to be hopefully doing this full time, so you'll start seeing a lot more output.
This is awesome, man. This is awesome. Yeah. Hey, Space Cow, thank you so much, man. I do appreciate it.
Oh man, much love, man. I was just gonna. Thank you. Much love, man.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you.
What I was just gonna play our last video. Now this one to me is really interesting, and this was something that was, this was something that was sighted from an airplane, but I just like you guys to chime in and tell me if you have any ideas what this could be. Yeah, here, let me get it up. There we go. Here we go. It's a short, so it is a short video, unfortunately. And thank you again, Space Cow. Here we go. Is it up?
Yep, you got it.
I don't think I can. No, I can. There we go. Let's start it from the beginning. Okay, guys, you ready?
Yep.
Now he does put an arrow for where to look, so make sure you're paying attention and look. You'll miss it because you'll say, "I didn't see it, man. Play it again." You watching, Anders?
Yeah, I'm looking.
All right. He'll put an arrow to tell you where to look.
I missed it.
No, it's still. See?
Okay.
Here it comes.
Oh, Eden. Come on, brother.
No, go on. I love it. You know what? Doing my searches, I will find videos like that all day long, and I had to share it with you guys because that one made me chuckle.
You had me on the edge of my seat for sure.
Yeah, I was like, where is it?
Yeah,
it had me on the edge of your seat till. Oh man! So that's where I'm at. So Nick, what do you have planned for your show tomorrow night, Friday?
I'm going to be doing part 4 on German flying saucers. I can't say the N word, not the word you're thinking of, but German flying saucers of World War II. Yeah, and I've been looking through the photographs of these so-called flying saucers, which are obviously fake, but we're going to go through it anyway and look through some documentaries. So yeah, it'll be interesting show for tomorrow. But again, Anderson, thank you so much for coming on to the Hidden Underbelly. Yeah, and it's
had a great time.
Absolute pleasure. And hopefully one day, if you just keep going, you will find that spectacular footage.
Yeah, like I
And
said,
yeah,
my goal is really just to kind of get out there, and whatever I see, I'm gonna capture it wherever that leads me. So
mate.
And is
Yeah.
there anywhere else that the viewers can catch you? Are you on X? Are you on Facebook?
I do have an Instagram. I don't post on there a lot, but people are welcome to send me DMs on there, and I respond to basically every message I get. So you can look up Uncanny Expeditions on Instagram, and I'm on there as well.
Real quick, I got two things to say. I gotta say something to Rebecca. Rebecca, the movie you suggested to me, Coffee Table, I've pulled it up. Is it a foreign movie though? Because I'm wondering, have I got the right one? Is it a foreign movie? Just tell me yes, and then I know I got the right one, and I will be watching that this week. And back to you, Anders. Any plans with the channel or anything? Because I'm going to leave the last word to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said earlier, for the rest of this year, starting in mid-July is when I'm going to be back on the road again. I'm going to be hitting Dugway Proving Ground. I have a place in California that I'm going to keep a surprise for now. I have a couple other places around Edwards Air Force Base, back to Tickaboo Peak in Area 51. So definitely stay tuned for my channel because I have a lot of good campouts planned for some of these places. So get ready.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely go check them out. Uncanny Expeditions. I think that's got that right.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
You got it.
Awesome.
And remember, guys, the links to Uncanny Expedition is in the description box. The link to is I'm not going to put out the link to your Insta if you don't post there.
I post it occasionally, but primarily.
If you want me to post the link then to your Insta, can you send it through Reddit to me, and then I will put it into the yada yada yada. What the hell am I? I will put it into the description box.
Yeah, I'll shoot it over to you. I have like 40-something thousand subscribers on YouTube, but only like 300 followers on Insta. So that's why I don't post on there as much. But like I said, people can message me on there, and it's a great way to stay in touch. So I'll go ahead and send you that link.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right, man.
Awesome.
All right. So thank you. I just like to give my thank you, Anders, for doing this with us. Would you be open to coming back again? Because
totally. Yeah.
You seem right at home here, man.
Yeah, no. I had a great time. Honestly, it was a great show. I liked the clips that you showed there at the end too. I had fun. So I'd absolutely be interested in coming back.
Thank you.
Awesome,
well, I'm a bit of a clown. I mean,
that's okay.
No, I'll be honest, because I think personally, I believe that the UFO phenomena and topic is taken way too seriously. That's why I like that video at the end, because we kind of
it's important to have fun with it. Exactly. Yeah.
We all got into it as an interest. Mm-hmm. And then I think there's certain groups that want to push you this way, certain groups that want to push you that way. I won't push you either way. I'm just going to show you the footage. What you think of it, that's up to you. Like I said, if that person wants to believe that Toronto sighting was a helicopter, God bless you. God bless you.
Hey, I'm on board with that. Yep.
And also, I'm not going to divulge too much, but Anders, you're a 420 guy too.
Yeah, occasionally. I don't have any today to partake in because I looked it up and the nearest dispensary was 4 hours away from me. So I'm like, I can't make it today. But when I get the opportunity, I do.
Yeah,
nice.
Me too. I'm a bit like you, because like I have a little connection with somebody, and I saw him last week, and he said, "Man, I'm coming over and I'll be touching you up." And nice. I said, "When?" And he said, "In a week." It's gone a couple of days, because I don't want to buy any if I know this man's coming to give me.
Yeah, there you go.
But he hasn't turned up, so I'm 420 free, which is a good thing, because I think if I was 420, this show wouldn't be half as good. Not that it would have been me. I would have been messing up, because don't I mess up, Nick?
We both mess up. We both 420 on the show, and we can't read. We can't pronounce words properly.
Oh.
It's fun. It's a fun show, but
it makes it more interesting, in my opinion.
It makes it more, it's fun. But honestly, we don't really have guests on, so this is sort of a new for me and hidden. But obviously, a pleasure as always, Anderson, and can't wait for the next show. And keep up the good content.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, man. Like I said, I loved it here. I had a great time on the show, so I look forward to doing it again in the future.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Just stick around when we finish. And I'd just like to thank most importantly you guys that have turned up tonight, you guys that have watched my video. Elon's messing with him again. That turned up and watched my videos. Thank you so much, because the Hidden Underbelly as a channel wouldn't be nothing without you guys. So thank you. And again, I'm going to say, if you haven't checked out my social medias, I'm on Facebook, I'm on X, I'm on Discord. So come over there, because just because I'm not posting videos doesn't mean I ain't working, because I do post stuff over on X and I do post stuff over on my Facebook channel. Links are in the description box. Thank you so much for your kind donations. It is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And that's it. And I'm going to end the show like I normally would. Until next time, stay blessed. And most importantly, keep safe, because this is an insane world and it looks like our leaders are certified. And I mean that. I mean, even our leaders. I'm not just talking about America. I just mean our leaders too. In England, they seem like nut jobs too. So it's kind of like the ants. One follows the other, follows the other, follows the other, and they're all just leading us somewhere that I don't like to see where it's going. But anyways, let's have some fun in this world, and remember to love each other and treat each other with the respect that you would like to be treated with. And on that note, again, stay blessed and keep safe.
See you, folks. Take care.
Cheers.
For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing concealed that will not be known and illuminated. Stay blessed and keep safe. This is the Hidden Underbelly. Stay blessed and keep safe.